Welcome back, racers. Today on the Midnight List, we're going to be reviewing one of the most influential cars ever made, the Porsche 959. This car won races, influenced American laws, motivated Ferrari to develop the F40, sparked the quest for top speed manufactured cars, and provided the bones for the Skyline GTR R32, aka Godzilla. But it wasn't developed for any of that. It was initially developed to participate in World Rally Group B, but unfortunately before it was finished in its development, Group B was disbanded due to the dangers involved in running those races. One of the rules to participate in World Rally at the time was to build 200 road-going versions of your race cars. Porsche ended up building 292 during the normal manufacturing run, and a total of 337 including prototypes and pre-production models. In 92 and 93 they built 8 more using leftover parts, which ended up selling for almost twice as much as the regular run models. Sales started in 1986 and the 959 cost $225,000, but even though that was a very hefty price tag for its day, Porsche lost over $200,000 for every unit they sold. One of these cars was sold to Bill Gates, but because this car was costing Porsche so much money, they only bothered getting it certified for European safety standards and didn't bother with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration for US certification. Gates's car was denied entry into the United States, and normally these vehicles are crushed, but luckily, while they were deciding on how to handle it, the car ended up getting stored for 13 years by customs, and legislation was developed to allow for show or display vehicles to be allowed into the country with a limited mileage of 2,500 miles per year, due to it being considered significantly important to car culture. The mileage limitations no longer apply due to the 959 being over 25 years old and falling into a different classification. Although the car was originally developed for Group B, the series was disbanded due to a series of deaths of both spectators and racers. Porsche wanted the vehicle to race and ended up entering it into the Paris-Dakar Rally and got 1st, 2nd, and 6th in the race. When Ferrari found out Porsche was developing a Group B car, they began working on the Ferrari F40 to enter into Group B as well. But like Porsche, they didn't develop it in time to actually enter it into any races. It was considered the most advanced vehicle of its day. It ended up with a top speed of 197 miles an hour, making it the fastest production car at the time and sparking the race to 200 miles an hour. At the time, it was the most advanced sports car ever built. To keep the chassis light, it had a Nomex floor and aluminum and Kevlar composite body panels. The vehicle was one of the first of its kind to have adjustable height suspension and an intelligent all-wheel drive system with gauges showing percentages of displacement from front to rear and the left and right for the rear differential. It was also one of the first cars to be equipped with a 6-speed transmission, although one of the gears was mainly for use off-road. To top it off, it even has rear seats. The vehicle also had magnesium wheels which were hollow, allowing for a unique tire pressure monitoring system. Another one of the 959s was purchased by Nissan, who ended up disassembling the vehicle in order to study it and learn from the drivetrain characteristics. This was instrumental in them developing the Skyline GTR R32. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hot lap and see how it did on pavement. For me, the 959 is a case of never meet your heroes. For an all-wheel drive car, it doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence in the corners. It has a tendency to oversteer, especially in stock form. There are some good setups you can find online, and I'll show you my setup at the end, but even then it's a little twitchy and it feels more like you're working with a hammer than a scalpel. That being said, it is getting a lot of praise online, and I ended up picking up a second one this morning to build strictly for the Tokyo 600. It's the first car I was able to win that race with without using an engine swap variant. If you were to only purchase one of the 5 cars that were released in this most recent update, I would actually point you towards the 904 instead of the 959. It's a slower car, but it's a lot more fun to drive. But as a fanboy, I have no regret in picking this one up, and like I said, I even picked up a second one just to have a second build. The 959 ended up wearing the front tires out at 10% and took about 25% away from the rear tires. This seems pretty good, but it's also the first car we're running on the 1.31 update, and tire wear is one of the things they changed for this update. As we review future cars, we'll be able to tell if the 959 is the change or if it's just the software change. It was a little bit more aggressive on fuel. We got 3 laps pretty comfortably, but in order to make it back around to pit, we would have had to change the fuel map to complete lap 4. The car costs $1.75 million in the game, and as money comes to you a little bit more easy later on, it's worth owning just for the history of the car. But you may not use it as much as you expect. Looks like our final lap ended up at 1 minute 58 seconds .091, which puts it in 15th place behind the KTM Crossbow and just in front of the Suzuki Cappuccino with the 13B rotary swap motor. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have the setup that I used for the testing here at the end. I thought it was worth mentioning that Porsche is actually releasing the 2023 911 with a Dakar trim, which commemorates the rally that this car ended up winning. So it's kind of cool that we're seeing the 959 hitting Gran Turismo this year as well. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that we can make sure you keep up to date with where we're at on the list. And either way, I appreciate you guys joining. Thank you and have a great night.